All right, here we are for part 2 of this last video. And check this out. It's a really cool moss agate just found. Look at the colors on that. It's got the little banded agates in there. All that red. That's a pretty moss agate. Very nice. And then here's this 2 first. So here's the second one. So this one's got, you can see the moss on the bottom. It's harder to see it on the sides. When I flip it to the sides, I'm not really sure if it goes all the way through, because that looks a little more jaspery, more of a solid jasper, but it has a little moss pattern in there. So I don't know. So this one's going to be interesting. Going to have to cut it or do something with it. But there you go. You get a little shot of that moss in there. Anyway, pretty nice one. Okay, so here's one. So this is cool. Here's a seam agate. This is a big piece of seam agate I found. It's pretty unusual. You can see it's got some lines in there. But in the seam agate, you can see the little dots. So it's got like little red jasper tubes in there. So they look like little pin dots there, but they go through and they're like little tubes. And then check it out. It's got these stalactite like agates right here, this little cluster here. You can see a couple of the ones at the top were broken off, but you can kind of see it. That's a pretty cool piece. Pretty excited to find a piece like that with those stalactites that big. Here I'm showing you the back. It's kind of hard to see. But anyway, I'd love to find some more of this, but this is the only piece I've ever found like that. I found a little tiny piece in one of the other videos of just the little stalactites, but I've never found a piece this big of seam agate that had those stalactites and then those little pins of red jaspers going through it. It's a pretty cool piece. That's definitely going to go in the case. Check this agate out. Found this really cool agate. It's cool waterline agate. It's got cool banding in it. I just think this one's really neat. Don't find a lot of these. Find very few of these actually, but this one's pretty cool. I like the colors. I like the bands. It's just a pretty neat piece. Pretty excited to find that one. All right. Here's a nice brachiated. Check that pattern out. That's kind of weird looking. Almost like a crackly alligator looking skin on that side. And there you go. Check the pattern out over here. That's way cool. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to cut. Try to figure out what to do with it. It's a pretty cool piece. Again, I'm doing the sound over today because of my microphone was giving me fits on this particular trip. Anyway, there you go. Check that side out. That's my favorite side. I just think that pattern is so cool. Anyway, and the colors are really neat. All right, cool. So let's see what we got next. Here you go. Check this guy out. This Jasper. It's got some stripes, orange and yellowish and reddish colors. It's a pretty neat piece. I like that pattern. I have to cut it. I don't know what it's going to be on the inside. Here's the other little piece I found. So this one's got a little moss in it. It's kind of hard to see. And the sun's kind of going down in this one, so it's a little hard to get the focusing and the light correct. But anyway, you can see a little moss in that top left-hand corner there. You can see that moss pattern. Again, it's a pretty neat piece. All right, so here's a twofer. This is a agate jasper sandwich. So you can see, look at all the lines on the bottom one. And the top one, you can see the jasper's like, it's got all these little dots of jaspers like broken apart and then solidified back together with agate. But that bottom piece has all the stripes in it. It's kind of neat. It's agate jasper. It's a pretty neat piece. All right, here, this next piece. This is a nice piece of that sunset orange, red-orange jasper that you find out there. It's not really brachiated, but it's just a pretty cool piece of jasper. All right. Here we go. So this is more of that golden with maroon, kind of like a golden jasper with maroon streaks going through it. You can see showing you on the end how it looks, and you can see that little maroon pattern going through that one line. All right, this one here. It's another, I believe, brachiated. I was thinking it's moss. It looks more brachiated than moss, so I'm going to call this one brachiated Jasper. Not moss Jasper. I was on the brachiated Jasper this day. I found a lot of it on this particular trip. Not as much moss, so that's how it goes sometimes. All right, check this one out. So this one's moss, so you can see the little moss pattern there. You see the white agate and the red moss, the red Jasper going through that, making the moss. It's a pretty cool piece. There you go. You can see that's pretty interesting. When you cut that and you see more of that agate coming through there, that's what makes a pretty neat piece. Anyway, there you go. You can see more of that white agate and that Jasper making the moss. All right. So this one here's like I said, the sun's going down, so it's like, okay, where's the shadow going to cast? This is another little piece of moss agate. The moss is pretty tightly packed, and that's when I'm squirting it off now because I didn't have any water on it. You can't really see the pattern too well. But here you go. Check it out. So it's a pretty cool piece. You can see some of that moss pattern in there. There you go. All right, and this will be the last one for this one. It's not a real long video, so thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Keep on rocking.